Hey, cutie pies. I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is General Hospital Edition. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Today is Wednesday, September the 28th, 2022. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one a 7.5. It was pretty solid. All right, we see Maxie and Austin, and they're still, just talking, getting to know each other and enjoying each other's company. And, Spinelli comes through because they're really not talking about too much. So Spinelli comes through and as they're kissing and everything, and it's awkward for him because you know how Spinelli feels about Maxie. But he's just like Georgie's down, and so he's about to leave or whatever because he wants to check on Diane. And so that leaves Maxie and Austin to talk. And she said, I'm sorry it took him so long, took her so long. But, she knows that Austin is there and the little girl, Georgie, doesn't like Austin. So she made her mama take extra long getting her to bed and reading more bedtime stories and everything. So on the outside of in the hallway of Maxie's apartment, we see Cody is there, and Spinelli was like, what do you want with Maxie? No, you're not gonna go see her. And Cody was like, this is big talk from a guy, who I know holds this information. And Spinelli is just like, I already helped you with Brit, even though you didn't deserve it. Like, how long are you gonna keep holding this information over me? He said, as long as you don't tell. He said, excuse me, as long as you keep getting in my way. And I'm just like, more reasons not to like Cody for me. But anyway, so Cody stops by, and Maxie opens the door, and he was like, hey sis. And she was like, what do you know? Did you talk to Mac? And he said, wait, you think Mac's my dad? And so she was like, I've overstepped. You need to talk to Mac. And then she introduces him to Austin. And Austin was like, is it Gatlin Holt? He was like, Gatlin. And I said, oh my gosh, it's more of a mystery. Because did y'all see the looks that Spinelli, that Cody was giving when, Austin said his name like he knew it. And then when Maxie and Cody were talking, because I'm not going to hold y'all long on this, it wasn't much. And she was just telling him, you need to talk to Mac, and Mac's a good guy. And if he was your dad, then you would be so lucky to have Mac as a dad. He's a great man. And why would you want your dad to be Leopold when it could be Mac? And the way Austin was looking at that comment when they mentioned who his dad was, and I said, you know what? I don't want to know any type of other mystery if it's going to drag on for months, because this whole Austin mystery it's done nothing. Like, it's went nowhere. The whole summer, the only thing we saw was Mason. And even with their conversation, it's the same conversation about you. They want you home. I'm not going home, but they want you home. But I'm not going home. I'm gonna make you come home, but I'm not going home. Like, stop it. Like, either put some movement to this or leave it alone. But anyways, that was it with them, y'all. So then we see Sam and Michael, and they're both there with Diane, and Sam tells him that he asks how Alexis is doing, because he knows she's close to Diane, and she said she's okay, and she's determined to find out who's doing this. And Sam lets him know that they think all three attacks were by the same, of course, by the hook and everything, but that Dex was in all three attacks, or whatever. He was there at all three attacks, and he was like, have they brought him in for questioning or whatever? And so Sam is just like, I'm not sure, but I'm sure they probably have, or whatever. She's not thinking nothing of it, she's just talking. So then Spinelli comes up, because Michael is trying to figure out where is Dex and everything. So Spinelli comes up, and he's talking to Sam about, he can't believe Diane is hurt. And so Michael comes over to them, and they say, he tells them, I have to go check on something. And Sam looks like, where is he going? But anyways, he leaves because they tell him we'll update you if anything happens to Diane. So this gives Sam and Spinelli time to talk, and I'm not going to hold you long. They are talking about Spinelli's feelings for Maxie, and because Sam was like, I didn't have no feelings for no Brit, but they're talking about Spinelli's feelings for Maxie and how she's with Austin now, and he says, he's talking about Georgie, and Sam is just like, you're a great dad. And she says, is Georgie liking Austin anymore? He said no. And she said, are you influencing her? Is she picking up on your jealousy? And he's like, what? Well, maybe she is or whatever. But he says, but she's a smart girl. And y'all know kids be knowing. Kids be knowing when somebody's no good. And everything. So anyways, she just tells him, he says Maxie is his match, but he would match them to see for sure, but he's not gonna do it. She was like, how would you do that? What, Zelda would match y'all, but she doesn't have Maxie's information. And so Spinelli finally had to break down and tell Sam it was him, and she was like, oh my gosh. He said, but can't nobody know because I'll go to prison. Like if somebody ever found out. So then we see Ava and Curtis, and Ava is trying to walk around the hospital. Why is Curtis still at the hospital? He just been hanging out there at the hospital for days. Anyways, Curtis is still at the hospital or whatever, and he helps Ava sit down, and she says in order to go home, they told her she has to walk a few blocks. I mean, she got to be able to walk. And so she can't do that right now. So Curtis and Ava go sit down, and they talk about the killer and everything, and how they can't believe, because Ava didn't know about Diane, so he informs her that there was another attack and it was Diane, and she's like, what? And they say, yeah, they're thinking it's a connection to Sonny or something. And she's like, oh my gosh. And around this time, Trina comes up, because that's Ava's daughter. And so Trina comes up, and she's like, Ava, why are you out of your room? Were you waiting on me? And she was like, no. And so then Curtis gets on Trina for being by herself. He was like, where are Cam and Jocelyn? She said, I don't know. They had something to do. He said, Trina, you're not supposed to be walking around by yourself. And she's like, excuse me. But by this time, Taggart came up. Or whatever. And she told Curtis, I'm not an idiot or whatever. What I heard Trina say was, you not my daddy, so don't tell me what to do. That's what I heard. So anyways, A was like, let's go to my room. And so Trina was like, I'll take you. And Taggart was like, what was that? And so Ava and Trina go to their room, and she says, I wanted to talk to you about Cameron. And she tells her that, Cameron held that secret that Spencer knew or whatever. And she thanks Ava because when she was trying to work out her feelings with Cameron and everything, Ava just listened to her and stuff. And so she thanked her for that. And then she started talking about, can you believe Curtis? And Ava was like, Trina, he just wants you to be safe, because we don't know what's going on. So he wants you to be safe. She said, yeah, but I moved in the dorms when they moved in. And she said, now my mom then go end up marrying him. He's going to be my stepdad. And she said, I don't need him trying to watch out for me. I can have my mom and my dad. And Ava said, you got me too. And she was like, of course. And she said, and why would it hurt to have Curtis look out for you too? Girl, you're blessed. You got all these people who love upon you and want to make sure you're good. Hush. And so Curtis and Taggart talking. And Curtis was just like, because Taggart was like, what was that about? He said, I just messed up. I was overprotective or whatever. Because Curtis really thought she was by herself. She could have just said, oh, I'm with my dad or something. But Curtis didn't have to jump to conclusions. And he tells Taggart that. And Taggart says, listen, he don't mind somebody looking out for his daughter. He said, you could have, your instincts, you should have had children or whatever. So then Trina comes out because she done talking to Ava. But before she came out, Curtis says, I know a way to keep Trina safe because she not going, because they try to get her not to be in the dorms. They try to them take her away. Taggart said, I try to get her, let me take her away for a little bit. Trina said, it's my sophomore year. I already had a rough freshman year. I wants to be in the dorms, and I want, she want to be a college student. And so Curtis says, well, let me work on it. I thought the man was going to ask for Sonny or Miss Wu to help him or whatever. But anyway, so Trina comes out, and Curtis had told Taggart, keep Trina at the hospital for a little bit. And he was like, okay. And so when he does that, um, Curtis says he has to go somewhere, and he wanted to go check on him. No, Trina wants to go check on Diane and everything. And Curtis said he had to go somewhere real quick. Well, Curtis goes to Ava, and he was like, I need your help in protecting Trina. So I was like, oh, he gonna ask Ava to put security on Trina. He said, no, girl, I'm asking Ava to fire Trina from the gallery. And I said, what? Oh, Curtis, she gonna be mad when she find out you did this. And Ava was like, I love working with Trina, not to mention she's good at her job. He said, but Ava, the maniac who attacked you is still on loose. What if they come to the gallery looking for you to finish the job and they find Trina there? And that's all it took for Ava to be like, all right, she fired. And so she's sad or whatever, but she tells Trina to come back. And then she lets Trina know, I have to let you go. And we're going to see about this tomorrow, because when Trina find out Curtis did this, she going to be upset. Baby, Portia ran herself in Jordan's office. She said, Curtis told me about the little divorce papers chat y'all had. Jordan, why are you trying to insinuate that I'm hiding something from Curtis? And Jordan said, wait a minute, Portia. You the one came up in my office. I'm not insinuating anything. And she said, but you know what I'm talking about. And Portia was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? And Jordan said, I'm talking about the fact that Curtis is, she said, is Curtis Trina's daddy? And I said, well, is he? Portia deflected. She said, I can't believe you would ask me this. What is the problem with you? You're still in love with Curtis. I said, nah, Portia, that's not going to work. But Portia was like, you're still in love with Curtis. Just admit it to me. Admit you still love him. And Portia said, you trying to get off on the question that I asked you was Curtis Trina's dad. She said, because y'all, you can't start a marriage like that. And she says, Curtis and I were who is it? Taggart and I were together 3 years after Curtis and I had our little affair or whatever. And she said, what I want to know from you is, are you still in love with Curtis? Because all of a sudden you didn't file the divorce papers or whatever. And Jordan said that was a mistake. I said, Jordan, tell her it was unstellar. Tell her. But Jordan said that was a mistake and everything. And Portia is just like, oh, yeah. And I said, now, Portia, don't get your feelings hurt. But then Jordan said, but you, once again, you're not answering the question, which is Curtis Trina's dad? She said, because if that's the case, you need to be truthful, because she said, and I know because I know what happened in that basement. Remember when they was high on that gas and stuff, and Portia went to talking too much? She said, and I know you're doing genetic testing. And she said, wait a minute, are you following me? Wait, did you use your being the police commissioner to find out information or whatever? Because Jordan said, are you trying to figure out, did Trina inherit a mental condition from her grandfather because of Curtis, and Marshall and all that? And she said, oh my gosh, what are you doing, Jordan? Why are you following me? And are you using your commissioner? Are you using your badge, your position to find out information? She said, no. I said, oh, she ain't have to. You talk loud. Every time you turn around, you on a secret phone call, and it's not secret because you have your back turned and you're talking loud. Anybody can hear you, girl. Anybody can get the information or whatever. And Jordan was just like, if Curtis is Trina's dad, he has a right to know, and you can't marry him with that secret. She said, wait a minute, are you threatening me? This is Portia to Jordan. Are you threatening me? I said, girl, that girl ain't threatening you. You do need to tell him no. And Jordan tells Portia, I'm not the enemy here, but I'm telling you, you don't want to go into your marriage with secrets. And I guess we're going to pick up tomorrow. So then we see Dante and Joss, and she is worried that they are framing. I said, didn't y'all talk yesterday? I thought this was over with. But anyways, so, they say Joss is here for you. And she is worried that, Dex is in trouble, or he is getting framed for this. I said, listen, Carly Jr., I know you like the man, but stay out of police business. But anyway, so she said, there was something she needed to tell Dante. He was like, "What?" She said, "I remember hearing like clink, like metal clinking together." And then he said, "Huh?" Because Brendo said he heard that, and I know Dex wears dog tags. And she said, and so Dante said, "Have you seen it or heard it?" And she thinks back to when she was at that pool and she heard those dog tags on Dex. And she said, "What? That's not like anybody. It could have been a dog's collar, or whatever." And he said, "Mm-mm. I know he wears dog tags, and I know you know it too, and or whatever." But he know Josh feels something about this boy. But anyways, he said when he came to help Ava, was his shirt clean? Because he was wearing a white shirt. And she said, yes. He was like, was it clean? And she was like, yes. And I said, Lord, what is Dante done found that we don't know? I don't know. Dante, I mean, Dex, if you don't want to be caught up in this, you need to give up Michael. But anyway, Sonny got Dex all strung up from the ceiling or whatever, and he got I can't think of his name, but he's beating on him and everything, trying to get information out of Dex. And Dex is like, I wanted to work, because Sonny's like, why do you want to work for me? I wanted to work for you because I admired you. And Sonny said, I don't believe that. And the bodyguard said, I don't believe it either. Pound, pound, pound. I said, well, Sonny, you can't beat it out of him. He said, yes, I can. Okay. So he kept beating on Dex or whatever, and he asking him questions, and Dex not giving up Michael. And Sonny said, that's all right. I got something for you. Because Dex was like, you can't beat this out of me. I don't know. I'm not the killer or everything. Because Sonny is like, who are you? It's funny how you try to get close to me so you could attack these people. Who are you or whatever? And Dex was just like, no, I just wanted to work for you. And then he said, that's all right. I got somebody for you. And I said, who? And he said, his name is Carver, and he's from the Woos. I said, Selena Wu? Dex, go ahead and sing. Because you ain't got to threaten me with torture. I'm singing like a canary, baby. I don't know how those people get kidnapped and stuff, and then they don't give up information, because I'm not doing pain. If you tell me you're gonna let me go, okay, fine. What you want to know? That's why I couldn't join the service, because I'll be singing. Anyways, so he bring Carver out or whatever, and around this time Frank come in, and he tells Sonny that he got a problem, and Sonny was like, what is it? He was like, that's unfortunate. But he said, all right, Carver. He tells the other guy, watch the door. He tells Carver, do what you do. And Dex tells Carver, you don't have to do the theatrics. I already know how this go or whatever, and I already know how this is gonna go and everything. So Carver said, Sonny, I don't care if you answer or not. He said, Mr. Corinthos wants answers. Carver was like, whether you answer or not, I'm still gonna do what I'm supposed to do and everything. And so he started sharpening his knives and everything. I said, you better say something. So now Michael went to Sonny's, and he tried to tell Sonny, all the three people was connected to you. And Sonny said, yeah. He said, but first of all, Michael, you don't want anything to do with my business, so why are you here? And he says, because of Avery, I care about her. Brando and I were distant. Cause I was like, I'm so confused by this. Michael, you don't want nothing to do with Sonny, but you want something to do with all the people who are connected to Sonny, but really don't have any kind of relationship with you. If blood related to you or everything, but okay, whatever. So anyways, he said, and Diane is a good lawyer, and she's a good friend, and everything. And so Sonny was like, I got this. There's nothing. And so then Michael started being like, who do you think did it? Do you have a suspect? And Sonny was like, my business is my business. You said you wanted no part of it, so what are you doing here? He said, well, I heard you picked up Dex Heller. Like Dex Heller was one of the suspects. He said, who told you that? And he said, well, I heard that. He don't never tell him that. Tell him who. But he says, I heard that you picked him up from the police station. He had a phone call, and you were his one phone call, and you picked him up from the police station, and now he can't be heard from. And Sonny was like, what does Dex mean to you? Like, why do you care what I'm doing? What does Dex mean to you? And I said, so you got gone to tell before you get Dex chopped up back there, sir. Don't blame this on yourself, Michael. You sent that man into a dangerous job. And now you trying to save him or whatever, but trying to keep your cover. Go on and tell Sonny that the boy worked, but I don't know because Dex have been around with all those crimes, but I just don't believe he's the killer. But listen, don't go by me because I thought Clyde wasn't the killer on Days of Our Lives, and he just didn't give a care. But anyways, child, that was General Hospital today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for a new episode of What Happened on the Soaps General Hospital. Goodbye.